Tonight on KVR News,
Austin experiences a day without immigrants,
local students host a dinner for refugees,
and demonstrators gather at the Capitol to protest Donald Trump.
You're watching KVR News, your leader for live, local UT coverage.
Broadcasting live from the Texas Student Television Studios at the University of Texas. You're watching KVR News at 9, Austin's leader for live, local UT coverage. Your news starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to KVR News. For Monday, February 20th, I'm Ashley Tsao.
And I'm Claudia Jimenez. Thank you for joining us.
Secretary of Homeland Security John F. Kelly signed new guidelines outlining more aggressive actions to detain and deport undocumented immigrants. In a pair of memos, Kelly detailed plans for the agency to increase the amount of immigrants prioritized for removal. He intends to enlist local law enforcement to help make arrests. These new procedures will expedite deportation proceedings for undocumented immigrants who have been in the country for up to 2 years. Another provision calls for immigrants apprehended at the border to be immediately returned to Mexico instead of being housed on U.S. soil pending their hearing.
The memos also instruct agency chiefs to hire 10,000 more immigration and custom enforcement agents and 5,000 more for border control. This marks a definitive change from the Obama administration's policy, which focused on deporting criminals or those linked to terrorism. But Kelly's plan deferred action for childhood arrival that provides work permits to undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as children. A White House official said that the counsel's office is currently reviewing the memos.
In order to help those affected by the new deportation policies, the Austin City Council approved a $200,000 emergency fund for immigration legal services in a 9-to-1 vote. The grant expands on previous agreements with Catholic charities.
These charities provide free legal services to help immigrants understand their rights and immigration status. Lawyers provide services to 140 immigrants a month, but after this grant, that number could rise by 50. Councilwoman Troxclair was alone in opposition of the grant and said her constituents feel like their safety is being threatened.
More than 35 restaurants closed last Thursday to participate in a day without immigrants. Some closed to show how important immigrants are to the American economy. Others closed because they simply didn't have enough staff to open. Protest organizer Gisella Juarez explains why this day means so much to the immigrant community in Austin.
We don't like what's going on in here. We love our country and we love, USA. So I'm hoping that we're respected here. Like, we have rights as well, Just make a difference.
Almost a fourth of AISD students did not attend school for a day without immigrants. Students from Manor, Texas marched down 290, blocking traffic. Other students decided to show their solidarity with this cause, not by marching, but by hosting a refugee night. We found out more about this student-led initiative hosted by Break the Silence and the United Muslim Relief of Austin.
There are over 32,000 refugees in America, and Texas is home to almost 15% of them. One organizer explained why it's important to help these immigrants resettle.
So this event was an attempt to integrate them with the wider Austin community so that we can build bonds that will last forever, hopefully, and make new friends and make new family, basically, so that they're more than just refugees and they're not labeled as refugees anymore and instead are an official part of our community just like everybody else.
The Austin Peace Academy gathered members of the surrounding community to help make refugees feel more at home over a plate of dinner. Thank you.
Refugees and Austinites conversed, laughed, and enjoyed their Saturday evening among new friends. The Austin community is attempting to make them feel more at home. A father attending explained how this event served as an example for his children.
So if we don't interact with people who are differently unique from us and not just the same as us, that we're not in ways developing our own understanding of the way others see the world, the things that are important to them, the way that their culture then challenges them to think about the different aspects of the perspectives of the world that they see. So exposing our kids to that is important to us.
Among the crowd was a refugee who wanted to send a message to American citizens.
And if there was one person or a couple of people that did something wrong or caused some destruction, they of course do not represent the rest of the entire refugee community or the entire Muslim community or any entire community in general, because there will be bad people in every religion, in every community, and they of course do not represent the general who is good. We fled from destruction not to cause destruction. We are here to help and to be helped, and we are glad to be here.
This President's Day turned out to be less of a holiday and more of a protest. Hundreds gathered at the Capitol to protest President Donald Trump in a Not My President rally. Protesters demanded that local representatives hear their complaints, which included the president's alleged relationship with Vladimir Putin, Republican efforts to undo Obamacare, and efforts to defund Planned Parenthood. One protester explained why this presidency is so troubling to her.
I'm a survivor of sexual assault. It was a violent assault many, many years ago. And the fact that he said that he thinks it's okay for men to, sexually assault women. It's not okay, never has been, and hopefully never will be.
President Trump chose Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster as his national security advisor. He accepted the role by saying he is honored to continue to serve the United States. McMaster spent his career as an Army officer and strategist. Previously, Michael Flynn held the office before being fired for misleading administrators over his conversations with the Russian ambassador to the U.S. Retired Vice Admiral Robert Howard, Trump's initial choice, turned down the role for personal reasons.
Norma McCorvey, the anonymous woman in the Supreme Court case Roe v. Wade, died on Saturday at age 69. McCorvey, also known as Jane Roe at the time of the trial, played a pivotal role in the Supreme Court ruling which legalized abortion in the United States in 1973. Throughout the beginning of her life, McCorvey actively supported abortion rights, but in the early 2000s, she underwent a religious conversion. From then on, she actively protested against abortion and worked to overturn the Roe v. Wade ruling. We'll have more news after the break.
Coming up next, how the bathroom bill could cost Austin millions of dollars,
UT celebrates Black History Month with activism art,
and how UT plans to boost low-income graduation rates.
We'll have more coming up on KVR News.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News Tip Line, 475-8181.
California Representative Jackie Speier proposed a bill requiring a student's rape charges to remain on their transcript for 5 years. If a student transfers while their case is still pending, the charges remain on their record for a year. Those fighting campus assault hope the bill will pass. If so, they would see it as a major victory. Opposing sides say that the disciplinary process of campus assault destroys the lives of young men and is biased towards accusers. Speier finds it unfair that institutions document academic dishonesty, but those who commit sexual assault can walk away from the crime without repercussions. With a bill like this, cases like ex-Stanford University student Brock Turner could be less common. The House of Representatives voted to overturn Obama's policy that allows states to fund Planned Parenthood. Those opposed to Planned Parenthood look towards former clinic managers for support. Some say that the organization cared less about giving women health care than performing as many abortions as possible. One former clinic manager, Ramona Trevino, said Planned Parenthood treated women like cattle. A group of former managers banded together, releasing videos and hosting conferences about their experience with their organization.
The Austin Convention and Visitors Bureau concluded that the bathroom bill, which prohibits transgender people from using bathrooms they identify with, would cost the city $109 million. In response to the bill, also called SB 6, the NFL and NBA said they would overlook Texas for future events if the bill was passed. The NBA said the same thing after North Carolina passed a similar bill and moved yesterday's All-Star game from Charlotte to New Orleans. The impact of the legislation would hit Austinites working in hospitality and local businesses the most. Members of a group called Active Heroes marched from Fort Hood to the state capitol to raise awareness about post-traumatic stress disorder and suicide. The event, called Carry the Fallen, brought 70 people together for the 3-day-long event. Participants marched for 70 miles with weights on their back to remember the veterans who died. Statistics show that approximately 20 veterans who suffer from PTSD take their own lives each day. Though the numbers were small, those who made the journey say that this event created a bond between everyone who participated.
In celebration of Black History Month, UT displayed Black activism art around campus. The exhibit, called #BlackRepresents, features exhibitions from Llewellyn Xavier's George Jackson series and Nate Powell's March On, which highlights emotional illustrations and historical photographs. More than 300 Black students from universities across the nation marched to celebrate the 40th annual Big 12 Conference on Black Student Government. The conference aims to think of ways to further the presence of Black students at predominantly white schools.
People in Austin celebrated the no-kill policy for its 6th year in a row. In 2011, a resolution was passed that now requires the city's shelter to not kill any healthy animals if cages are unoccupied. For all impounded animals, no more than 10% of them can be euthanized. Since this policy, Austin has had more than 90% of animals rescued.
The University Interfaith Council hosted Israeli and Palestinian girls to share their unique experiences with the Austin community. The guest speakers belong to Creativity for Peace, an organization from Santa Fe, New Mexico, that teaches young Israeli and Palestinian girls to become leaders of change in their home countries. The women shared their experiences living in the conflict and the importance of learning to understand the other side. The panel was part of a larger outreach program for American youth. Sivan Kadem, an Israeli alumni of the program, tells us why she thinks it's so important for Americans to hear their story.
American has a lot to learn also from what the work we're doing, because also in America you have conflict between your society. I mean, there's minorities and there's groups that are being discriminated, and the work that we're doing is basically in order to eliminate discrimination. So we have a lot of tools that also American can share.
Over 250 prospective graduate students were crushed last Wednesday when the email they received from Columbia University congratulating them on their acceptance turned out to be sent by accident. The Vice Dean of Education at the university sent out an apology for the mistake, attributing it to human error. Students are still waiting for legitimate updates to their application status, and the stress and confusion caused by this miscommunication has caused a great deal of upset. And you know, Claudia, that wasn't the only gloomy news we were hearing about. I can't believe the weather switched back to being cold and rainy, especially last night.
But today the weather wasn't so bad after all. Hopefully the trend continues for the rest of the week. Our Katie Balevic is in the Weather Center. Katie?
Well, Claudia and Ashley, today was pretty dark and overcast, but we're in for a much sunnier week. We'll have more after the break.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News tip line, 475-8181.
This morning, we had a hazardous weather alert for heavy rains, but it cleared up throughout the day and eventually we got some sun. It's going to be clear tonight and throughout the week. This evening, we can expect a low of 52 with no chance of rain. Tomorrow will be sunny with a high of 79 and a low of 51. Wednesday will be a beautiful day with a high of 84 and a low of 54. Thursday will be warm and breezy with a high of 84 and a low of 56. Friday has a 10% chance of rain with a high of 79 and a low of 47. Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high of 69 and a low of 49. Sunday will bring a 20% chance of rain with a high of 73 and a low of 54. All in all, we're in for a beautiful week, perfect for studying on the lawn in front of the tower, or heading over to Zilker Park to take a break and stretch your legs. Back to you, Ashley and Claudia.
Thanks, Katie. We'll be back with Bailey Abramowitz from College Pressbox after the break.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
Welcome back to KVR News. I'm Bailey Abramowitz. The Texas women's basketball team faced Oklahoma in Norman on Saturday. The Longhorns fell to the Sooners 74-73 for the team's first Big 12 loss of the season. Texas currently leads Baylor 48-41. Texas men's basketball fell to Kansas State 64-61. on Saturday at the Frank Irwin Center. A tip-in basket from Kansas State forward DJ Johnson with 1.6 seconds left sealed the victory for the Wildcats. Texas was led by senior guard Kendall Yancey, who put up 13 points in 30 minutes off the bench. The Longhorns fall to 10-7 on the season and 4-10 in the Big 12. Texas currently trails 40-55 from West Virginia. Texas basketball began its season over the weekend against the 23rd ranked Rice Owls. The Longhorns split the 4-game series 2-2. Texas dropped Game 1 on Friday 3-2, swept the doubleheader on Saturday 5-4 and 6-1, and rounded out the weekend on Sunday, losing to the Owls 7-1.
Now, Bailey, Texas baseball will continue its 2017 campaign on Wednesday against Sam Houston State in Huntsville. So can you tell me a little bit about what the non-conference schedule means to first-year Heath coach David Pierce and the Longhorn team?
The non-conference schedule to Coach David Pierce will really be impactful on his relationship with the team and hopefully help him have a great relationship in the upcoming years with the Longhorns.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, Bailey. Now our Jaewon Yu is here to tell us what's been happening in Hollywood. Jaewon?
Britney is back. A Britney Spears biopic receives criticism for being unrealistic. Vin Diesel sings with Selena Gomez and The Lion King goes live. We'll reveal the starts of the live-action Lion King and more after the break.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
Britney Spears' biopic, Britney Ever After, premiered on Lifetime Saturday night, February 18th. But the movie didn't do as well as expected. Many fans and celebrities took to Twitter to express their disappointment in the film. Some commented on the inaccuracy of technology and events. Others commented on the poor casting. The film included true events like Spears dating Justin Timberlake, marrying Kevin Federline, and shaving her head, but poorly displayed some of her iconic outfits and added a non-existent sex tape. Nicole Elizabeth Snooki Polizzi posted a gif of Teresa Giudice's infamous table flip from The Real Housewives of New Jersey and commented, "I wonder what Britney thinks of this movie." We here at KVR wonder what Britney thinks of the movie as well. Vin Diesel does a lot more than drive fast and furious cars. In fact, he sings. The actor is featured on pop star Selena Gomez and Norwegian singer Kygo's new single, It Ain't Me. Gomez and Diesel's vocals are mixed on the audio track as if they were singing a duet. Diesel took to Facebook and Instagram to announce how talented Gomez and Kygo are and how excited he was for the release. The song came out last Wednesday and is Gomez's first new song in about a year. We look forward to hearing it. The Lion King will be getting a makeover after director Jon Favreau announced a live-action version of Disney's The Lion King. Favreau is using CGI to make a lifelike Lion King. He previously directed the remake of The Jungle Book, which used the same technology. He also casted James Earl Jones and Donald Glover as voice actors. Jones will be filling his original role as Mufasa, while Glover will be the voice of Simba.
Thanks, Jaewon, and thank you for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us for news updates throughout the week. You can find us on Twitter at KVR News or like us on Facebook. I'm Claudia Jimenez.
And I'm Ashley Tsao. Stay tuned for College Pressbox up next on Texas Student Television. Have a great week.